Good evening to all the participants joining us from across the country. On behalf of the Beneficiary Scheme Directorate of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, it gives us immense pleasure to welcome you all to today's live webcast, The Unbilled Hours of Life, Investing in What Truly Matters. We are privileged to have with us today's speaker, CA Manish Goyal sir, an accomplished chartered accountant, distinguished mentor, and inspiring thought leader whose rich professional experience and practical insights have guided us and motivated countless professionals. His unique perspective on career development, leadership, and personal growth makes him the ideal speaker to lead today's deliberations. Thank you, and I now have the pleasure of inviting CA Manish Goyal sir to deliver his address.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Uh, Respected CA Durgesh Kumar Kabra, sir, convener of our Beneficiary Schemes Directorate, ICAI. Respected CA Rajendra Kumar P, sir, Deputy Convener, Beneficiary Schemes Directorate. Respected seniors, my professional colleagues, my dear chartered accountant friends joining from different parts of India, a very warm good evening to each and every one of you. First of all, I express my sincere gratitude to the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and the Beneficiary Schemes Directorate for giving me this wonderful opportunity to connect with my CA fraternity on a subject uh, which I believe is, it is very close to every professional's life. Today, we are not discussing a new accounting standard. We are not discussing a new tax provision. We are not analyzing new notification. We are, in fact, even not debating a new compliance requirement. Today, for a few moments, we are going to discuss the most important entity we have ever handled, and that entity is ourselves. Throughout our professional journey, we chartered accountants have audited thousands of balance sheet. We have reviewed profit and loss account, we have checked financial statements, we have analyzed companies, businesses, organizations, institutions. We have done identified risk, suggested controls, improved systems, protected wealth, and so on. We have created values in so many forms. But somewhere in this beautiful journey of building others' business, protecting others' wealth, and strengthening others' system, a very important question comes before us. Have we ever audited our own life? Have we ever prepared our own balance sheet? Not the balance sheet that contains land, building, or investments, bank balances, financial assets. I'm not talking about another balance sheet. A balance sheet where assets are health, happiness, relationships, peace, memories, values, and purpose. I'm talking about those balance sheet. A balance sheet where liabilities are stress, regret, missed moments, broken relationships, and forgotten dreams. My dear friends, every year we ask our clients, where is your closing stock? Where is your bank confirmation? Where is your reconciliation? Where is your supporting document? But maybe life is also asking us a few questions. Where is your family time? Where is your health investment? Where are the memories you planned to create? Where is the happiness you postponed for someday? And that is why Today's topic is extremely meaningful: the unbilled hours of life, investing in what truly matters. Because as a chartered accountant, we understand billing, better than anyone. We know the value of an hour of consultation, an hour of audit discussion, 1 hour of advisory, 1 hour of professional service. Every hour has a professional value. But today, we will talk about those hours which may never appear in our invoices, but they create the highest value in our lives: the unbilled hours. Friends, the journey of becoming a chartered accountant itself teaches us discipline, sacrifice, patience, determination. Every CA sitting here knows that these two letters, CA, may look very small, but behind these two letters, there is a story of thousands of hours, a story of early morning, a story of late nights, a story of missed celebrations, a story of choosing books when friends were choosing entertainment, a story of believing in yourself when sometimes results tested your confidence. The CA journey is not only an academic qualification, it is a transformation. The person who enters this course and the person who qualifies this course are rarely the same. The course changes our thinking and also changes our approach. It teaches us, responsibility. It teaches us patience. And sometimes it teaches us how to remain calm when everyone around us is under pressure. Because uh, pressure becomes part of our professional DNA. During student life, we wait for exams to end. During articleship, we wait for workload to reduce. But after qualification, we wait for career stability. After career stability, we wait for financial success. And after financial success, sometimes we realize that life was happening during all those waiting periods. You know, every CA has memories of articleship days, uh, maybe those first audit assignments, the first time, when you might have entered a client's office, the first time opening a huge ledger, the first time checking vouchers, first time of preparing working papers, and also the first time when the senior says this file is urgent. However, later we realize in a CA profession, every file is urgent. Every CA, understands this. Audit deadline is urgent. Tax filing is urgent. Client query is urgent. Management report is urgent. Board presentation is urgent. Everything is urgent. But sometimes we forget that life also has some urgent matters. Even our parents are aging, children are growing, health is changing, relationships need time, dreams need attention. And unlike income tax or MCA portals, life does not always provide an extension. My dear colleagues, when we talk about the journey of a chartered accountant, every stage has its own challenges. When we were students, we think, uh, once I clear CA, life will become easy. Then we qualify. We proudly add those two golden words before our name, CA, a dream achieved, a milestone completed, a moment of pride, not only for ourselves, but for our entire family. Parents feel proud, teachers feel proud, friends congratulate us, society respects us, and we feel that uh, now the difficult part is over. But then begins another beautiful challenge, the challenge of building a meaningful professional life. Because becoming a CA is one achievement, becoming a valuable CA is a continuous journey. Some enter employment, some enter practice, some enter entrepreneurship, some enter industry, few becomes consultants, few becomes finance leaders. But wherever a chartered accountant goes, one thing follows us everywhere, and that is responsibility. Because society does not look a CA as only a professional. Society looks at us as a symbol of trust. When a businessman is confused, he calls his CA. When management wants clarity, they call their CA. When investors need confidence, they look towards financial professional. When law becomes complicated, people search for CA guidance. Our signature carries responsibility. Our opinion carries weight. Our advice impacts decision. And because we understand this responsibility, we give more time, more effort, more commitment, more dedication, sometimes more than what we actually have available. There is one funny but true thing about chartered accountants. A CA remembers, income tax due date, GST due date, TDS due date, ROC compliance date, audit submission, board meeting date. Sometimes, the CA needs a phone reminder for a family birthday. बाकी चीजें तो सब कुछ जुमा पे रटी हैं. And when that reminder appears, we say, "Oh yes, today is the birthday." And that is the irony of our profession. We maintain compliance calendars for companies, but sometimes, we forget to maintain an emotional calendar for ourselves. We reconcile bank statements perfectly. Even a difference of 1 rupee keeps us awake. But sometimes we continue for years without reconciling our own priorities. Our laptop knows our evening better than our family members. Our inbox receives more attention than our own health. And this is not because we don't care, it happens because we are committed professionals. And Uh, we take responsibility seriously. We uh, carry expectations. We want to deliver excellence. And that commitment is the beauty of our profession. But excellence in profession should not come by creating deficiency in life. The first client, for everyone has a special place for every practicing CS journey, because that client did not only give work, that client gave trust, and trust is the foundation of our profession. Slowly, one assignment becomes two, two becomes 10, a small team grows, systems develop, reputation builds. But behind every visible success, there are invisible hours, late evenings, learning new laws, updating knowledge, training teams, managing expectations, solving problems. These are the hours that build professionals. Uh, there was a finance professional, who was extremely dedicated, always available, always reliable. Whenever there was a difficult assignment, everyone said, "Give it to him; he will manage." And he felt proud because being dependable is a wonderful quality. Years passed, he received promotions, his salary increased, his designation improved, his cabin became bigger, everything visible was growing. But one day, during a conversation, someone asked him, "What is your best memory from the last 5 years?" And he started thinking. He remembered projects, he remembered presentations, he remembered deadlines, he remembered meetings. But he struggled, to remember the moments. That question stayed with him because achievements were many, but memories were limited. And friends, this is something we all need to think about. A successful career should give us stories, not only statistics. I remember a very realistic situation that many corporate CAs can relate to. Imagine a finance manager, uh, working in a large company. Month end closing is going on. Reports need to be submitted. Management wants numbers. Auditors need explanations. Operations team wants approval. Tax team needs data. Everyone is calling and everyone is saying you only have 5 minutes. But you know, for every CA, he every CA knows professional 5 minutes are never 5 minutes. Sometimes 5 minutes become 50 minutes. Sometimes one final email becomes another 2 hours. Sometimes we open the laptop just to check something quickly, and suddenly the clock says midnight. This is the reality of many hardworking professionals. But, friends, there is one important point. While we build our professional identity, we should not lose our personal identity. Because, you know, before we are chartered accountants, we are someone's child, someone's parent, someone's friend, someone's guide, someone's inspiration. Our professional designation is a very important part of our life, but it should not become our entire life. The world of finance, has changed dramatically. And earlier, the role of chartered accountants was seen mainly around accounting, audit, and taxation. But today, the CA is a business strategist, a risk manager, a technology adopter, a governance leader, a creator. These expectations have increased, and uh, because these expectations have increased, pressure has also increased. A CFO today is not only closing books, the CFO is driving strategy, managing stakeholders, handling investors, supporting growth, controlling risks, leading transformation. Similarly, a practicing CA today is not only filing returns, the CA is guiding businesses, helping entrepreneurs, creating compliance confidence, building financial discipline. The profession has evolved, my dear, and we have evolved with it. But while upgrading our professional software, we must also upgrade our personal operating system, because even the best software requires updates. Even the best machines requires maintenance. Even the strongest organizations require review. And similarly, even the strongest professionals require reflection. Friends, one common sentence we hear in our profession is बस अब कर लूंगा. After this deadline, things will become normal. After audit season, after tax season, after March closing, after September deadline, after this project, after this assignment. But every experienced CA knows the reality. After one deadline, another deadline is already waiting. Sometimes our calendar look like a relay race where one compliance hands over the baton to another compliance. And that is why balance cannot be something we postpone. Balance is not something we achieve after finishing all work, because work will continue, responsibilities will continue, growth will continue. Balance has to be created while moving forward. A chartered accountant does not wait for a company to stop operations before improving systems. We improve systems while the company is running. Similarly, We cannot wait for life to become completely free before creating balance. We create balance while living. A young CA, if we talk about entering the corporate world, carries ambition. There is excitement, there is confidence, there is also pressure because uh, now performance is not measured through marks. Performance is measured through decisions, through responsibility, through leadership, through problem solving. Imagine a newly qualified CA joining a company. First month and closing. Finance team is busy. Operation team is calling. Management needs reports. Auditor needs schedules. Someone needs reconciliation. Someone needs analysis. Someone needs approval. And suddenly, the young chartered accountant that joined understands one truth. In corporate life, the examination hall has changed. Earlier, we had 3 hours to complete a paper. Now, sometimes we have 3 hours to solve a business problem. Earlier, ICI prepared the question paper. Now, the market prepares the question paper. And sometimes the questions are out of syllabus, but that is where our training helps. Because CA is not only about knowing answers, it is about developing the ability to find answers. One of the greatest professional strengths of a CA is the ability to see the bigger picture. When we analyze a company, we do not look only at today's profit, we look at sustainability, we look at future potential, we look at long term value. Maybe we need the same approach for ourselves. Not only how successful am I today, but how sustainable is my success? Not only how much am I achieving, but am I enjoying what I'm achieving? Not only what am I building, but who am I becoming while building it? Because success should not only improve our standard of living, it should improve our quality of living. And this brings us back to the beautiful idea of today's topic, the unbilled hours of life. Those hours that never appear in our professional records, but silently create the strongest foundation of our existence. Uh, Again, let us think of a young CA working in a multinational company, uh, first generation professional, very ambitious, very hardworking. He wants to prove himself. He joins meetings before everyone, leaves office after everyone, takes responsibility, learns everything, says yes to every opportunity. Slowly, his efforts are recognized. Promotions come, salary increases, designation improves. Everyone says you are doing extremely well, and professionally, he truly is. But somewhere, he starts believing my value depends only on my performance. My worth depends only on my achievement. Friends, this is where we need to remember something. We are chartered accountants, but before that, we are human beings. Our value is not only our productivity, our value is not only our visiting card. Our life is bigger than our LinkedIn profile. Uh, Practicing CA, spends years building credibility because in our profession, reputation is not only created, overnight. It is created slowly, one client at a time, one assignment at a time, one commitment at a time, one ethical decision at a time. And that is why, chartered accountants work so hard. A client may call early morning, a client may call late evening, sometimes even on Sunday. And many times we answer because somewhere inside us, there is a feeling that they trust me, they depend on me, I should be available. You know, this commitment makes our profession special. But friends, being available for everyone should not mean becoming unavailable for yourselves, for ourselves. Many CA firms, track professional time, how many hours spent on audit, how many hours spent on taxation, how many hours spent on consulting, how many hours spent on advisory. Everything is recorded and everything is reviewed, everything is analyzed. But imagine if life also maintained a timesheet, what would it show? Hours spent worrying, hours spent scrolling, hours spent in unnecessary, stress, spent in postponing happiness. And then another column, hours spent with family, hours spent improving health, learning something new, creating memories, helping someone. What would our lifetime sheet reveal? Would we be satisfied with that report? This is where the concept of today's discussion becomes important because every hour that creates value does not generate revenue. A mother spending time with her child does not raise an invoice. A father guiding his family does not charge consultation fee. A friend supporting another friend during difficulty does not prepare a professional bill. A mentor helping a young professional does not always expect payment. But these hours build something much bigger. They build trust, they build relationships, they build respect, they build legacy, all these. And in our profession, we understand investment. We advise people, uh, to start early, invest regularly, think long term, don't wait. Small investments today become large assets tomorrow. The same principle applies to life. A small conversation today builds a strong relationship tomorrow. Uh, a small health discipline today prevents a major problem tomorrow. Uh, a small act of kindness today creates lifelong respect for tomorrow. A small moment with family today becomes a priceless memory for tomorrow. Life also works on compounding. Not only the money compounds, even the relationships compound, knowledge compounds, goodwill compounds, health habits compound, happiness, all these. But the question is, are we investing regularly? Friends, this is the biggest mistake sometimes we make is believing, you know, I will focus on life after achieving success, after one promotion, after one big client, one big milestone, some financial target, you know, one more achievement. But the reality is, life does not wait outside our office. You know, it never says, sorry, it would never say, complete your work, then I will begin. Life is happening right now, between meetings, between deadlines, between assignments, responsibilities. The challenge is not choosing between career and life. The challenge is creating harmony between two, because a fulfilled CA is not someone who chooses only success or only happiness. A fulfilled CA is someone who creates meaningful success. Dear friends, as we move ahead in today's discussion, we will explore something deeper. So, we will prepare, a different kind of balance sheet, not a corporate balance sheet, not even a statutory balance sheet, not a balance sheet prepared under Schedule 3, but a balance sheet that every human being carries, the balance sheet of life. We will, look at the what our real assets are, what are our hidden liabilities, where should we invest more, and what truly remains when professional titles and financial numbers are kept aside. Because at the end of the journey, the biggest question will not only be how much did we earn, the bigger question will be how well did we live, how many lives did we touch, how many memories did we create, and how much value did our presence add. And from here, my dear, we move towards the most important financial statement we will ever prepare, uh, the balance sheet of our life. Uh, Let us now open this balance sheet together and identify the assets we would protect, the liabilities we should reduce, and the legacy we should create. Throughout our journey as chartered accountants, one document has always been very close to us, the balance sheet, the simple statement asset on one side, liabilities on another side. But behind those numbers, there is always a story. When we look at the balance sheet of a company, we do not only see figure, we see decisions, we see strategies, we see management vision, we see past actions, we see uh, future possibilities. A balance sheet tells us where an organization stands today, but because of the choices it made yesterday. And our life also works exactly the same way. Where we stand today is the result of thousands of small choices we made in the past. And where we will stand tomorrow will depend on the investments we make today. Imagine for a moment that life gives us a financial statement, a statement titled, for me, balance sheet of CA Manish Goyal as a human being. Or each one of us can put our own name there. Now, the question is, what would appear under asset? Would it only show bank balance, property, investments, professional achievements, degrees? No, those are important assets, but the real assets would be different. It would cover health, family, relationships, peace of mind, knowledge, values, character, reputation, experience, the blessings we have earned, the people who trust us, the lives we have influenced. These are the assets which cannot always be valued in rupees. But without them, even the biggest financial balance sheet feels incomplete. As chartered accountants, we understand the concept of impairment. Uh, if an asset loses value, we test it, we review it, we recognize impairment when required. But let us ask ourselves, do we perform impairment test of our own life assets? Our health is an asset, but do we ever review whether stress is reducing its value? Our relationships are assets, but do we check whether the lack of time is creating impairment? Our happiness is an asset, but do we analyze whether constant pressure is affecting it? Sometimes the most valuable assets lose value silently because, unlike business assets, life assets do not always send you know warning notifications. A machine in a factory gives signals, performance reduces, maintenance alerts, they appear, production efficiency falls. But our body, our mind, our relationships, many times they keep adjusting. They keep supporting us until one day we realize that we should have paid attention earlier. And friends, as risk professionals, we know prevention is always better than correction. A strong internal control system prevents future losses. Similarly, a strong personal habit prevents future regrets. Let us take the first major asset, health. Every CE understands that, that without working capital, even a profitable company can struggle. A company may have orders, a company may have customers, company may have potential, but without working capital, operations become difficult. Similarly, health is the working capital of life. You may have knowledge, you may have skills, you may have ambition, you may have opportunities, but without health, everything becomes difficult to operate. Many professionals say that, I'm very busy right now. I will focus on health later. But imagine if a company says, we are busy expanding, we will maintain our machinery after 10 years. What would we advise? We would, no, obviously, immediately say that this is risky. Maintenance cannot be postponed. Efficiency depends on care. Then why do we postpone maintenance of our own body and mind? A CA's greatest asset is not the laptop, not the software, not the office, not even the technical knowledge alone. The greatest asset is the person applying that knowledge, that person having the judgment power, the thinking, the decision making ability, the wisdom, and that requires physical and mental energy. I once heard a beautiful thought. A person spends the first half of life sacrificing health to create wealth, and uh, sometimes it spends the second half sacrificing wealth to recover health. As finance professionals, we immediately understand, that this is not a good investment strategy, because the best investment strategy is balance, grow wealth, but protect health, build career, protect relationships, achieve success, but protect happiness. Next is relationships. This is again, one of the most valuable assets of life. But interestingly, relationships are never shown in any financial statement. A company can show investments worth crores, but a person may have something much more valuable. People who celebrate our success, people who stand with us during challenges, people who value us beyond our designation. During the professional success, many people are around us, but during difficult times, we discover our real balance sheet of relationships. And this balance is built slowly through time, through care, through uh, conversations, through presence, through uh, those beautiful unbuilt hours. There is another beautiful lesson from auditing. The highest risk areas are not always where noise is maximum. Sometimes the biggest risk areas are hidden where nobody is looking. Similarly, in life, we often focus on loud areas, urgent emails, urgent meetings, urgent calls, urgent deadlines. But important areas are often quiet. Health quietly waits, relationships quietly wait, personal dreams quietly wait. And wisdom is knowing the difference between the urgent and important. Now, think about our parents. Many of us remember our CA journey, the examination days, the result days. I'm in a meeting. The result days, the uncertainty, the pressure. But behind many successful CAs, there were parents who invested without expecting returns. They invested their time, their money, their emotions, their prayers, their confidence. They were the earliest investors in our journey. Before the world recognized our potential, they believed in us. And sometimes, after becoming successful, life becomes so busy that we forget to know to give time to those original investors. In business language, uh, they invested at the startup age when risk was highest, when success was uncertain, when there was no guarantee, and they never asked for dividends. They only wanted happiness. They only wanted time, the connection. अब क्या हो गया? Go talk to them. Talk to your parents, your family, your children, your siblings. Similarly, our families walk with us through our professional journey. Behind every late night audit, behind every deadline, behind every professional commitment, there is often a family adjusting silently. You know, When we say, I'll be late today, I have an urgent meeting, or the March, it is end, the March ending is going on, only this month is busy. Many times, they understand because uh, they respect our dreams. But we must also remember their understanding is a gift, and every gift deserves appreciation. A successful CA is not someone who only creates a strong professional balance sheet. A truly successful CA creates harmony between professional excellence and professional fulfillment. Because at the end, the biggest wealth is not only what we collect, the biggest wealth is what we can share with people we love. This is not a story about choosing family over profession. It is not about reducing commitment because dedication is the identity of a CA. This is about awareness because sometimes the people who need us the most are the people who ask the least. Clients send reminders, departments also send notices, regulators send alerts, software sends notifications, but family, nothing. Health, silence. Inner peace, they usually remain silent, and the silent areas require our attention. Now, after discussing the asset side of the balance sheet of the life, every CA naturally knows what comes next because no balance sheet is complete by looking only at assets. We must also review the other side, the liabilities. In financial statements, the liabilities are not always bad. Some liabilities help businesses grow. Loans create expansion. Funding create opportunities. Capital commitments create future values. But uncontrolled liabilities create risk. And the same principle applies to life. Some pressure is good, some ambition is good, some professional challenge is good. They help us grow, they push us beyond our comfort zone, they create excellence. But when pressure becomes permanent, when ambition becomes endless comparison, when professional responsibility removes personal happiness, then these liabilities require review. Let us look at some liabilities of the life balance sheet. You know, neglected relationships, stress, regret, poor health, missed moments, unnecessary comparison, loss of peace. These liabilities, do not appear suddenly. They accumulate slowly, just like interest. Small amounts keep adding. Small compromises, small ignored signals, small postponements. And after many years, the accumulated balance becomes significant. As CA, we understand provisions. No, everyone do. A company creates provision because uh, it recognizes possible future obligations. It prepares today for tomorrow's uncertainty. But what provisions do we create in our personal life? Do we create a provision for health? Do we create a provision for family time? Do we create provision for learning? Do we create provision for happiness? Or do we just assume that uh, somehow everything will automatically adjust? A good financial manager never leaves everything to chance. And a good life manager should also not leave everything to chance. Let me share a situation, that many senior professionals may connect with. Imagine an audit partner, highly respected, years of experience, large client base, strong reputation. Every organization wants his advice. Every client values his opinion. His calendar is always full. Morning meetings, client calls, review discussions, team guidance, technical updates, travel deadlines. No, but one evening, after completing another successful assignment, he reaches home late. The house is silent. Everyone has slept. On the dining table, there is a small note with a no. It's written, uh, "Dinner is kept in the fridge." A simple line. Nothing emotional. Nothing dramatic. Dinner is kept in the fridge. But sometimes, simple things create deep reflection. He thinks, I'm available for every client's emergency, but am I available enough for the people who never send me reminders? आप लोग में से कितनों के साथ ये वाली चीज होती है? Answer to yourself. Now, a designation introduces us, but character defines us. A position gives authority, but values create respect. A qualification creates opportunity, but contribution creates legacy. Many times, we chase success because we believe success will bring happiness, but gradually we realize happiness is not the final reward after success. Happiness is the energy that helps us create a meaningful success. A peaceful professional thinks better. A balanced leader decides better. A fulfilled person contributes better. Many young professionals they believe that success means always moving faster, faster promotions, faster growth, faster achievements, faster recognition. And yes, speed is valuable, but directions is more valuable. A vehicle, moving at a high speed in the wrong direction. does not reach the destination earlier, it only moves away faster. Similarly, the professional speed must be supported by the life directions. Now, the going concern. Whenever we review our entity, we evaluate whether it can continue successfully into the future. But let us think about uh, our personal going concern assumption. Are we building a life that can continue with energy and enthusiasm? Or are we creating a model where everything depends only on a continuous pressure? A business model without sustainability eventually faces challenges. A life model without balance also faces challenges. And therefore, the objective is not less success. The objective is better success, not smaller dreams, but stronger foundations, not reducing ambition, but adding awareness. Now, dear friends, there is another beautiful concept we regularly use: materiality. In auditing, we decide what is material, what can influence decisions, what truly matters. But sometimes in life, we reverse materiality. Small office issues becomes highly material, but important life areas becomes ignored. One delayed email creates stress, and one small mistake creates frustration. One professional disagreement affects our entire day, but at the same time, a peaceful morning, a conversation with family, a few minutes of exercise, a moment of gratitude. Sometimes these things are treated as immaterial. Maybe life is asking us to reassess materiality because after many years, what will actually be material? Will it be the email that was replied to 30 minutes late? Or will it be the relationships we maintained? Will it be one additional meeting? Or will it be the memories we created? Will it be one more professional title? Or will it be the impact we created with that title? Think, when we discuss the balance sheet of life, there is another important concept from our profession, that beautifully connects with our journey. That concept is true and fair view. Every chartered accountant understands the importance of these words. Whenever we sign an audit report, whenever we review financial statements, whenever we analyze information, we are not only checking numbers, we are checking whether those numbers represent reality. Because presentation and reality can sometimes be different. A company may show impressive numbers, but as professionals, we always ask, what is the real position? What is the substance behind these figures? What story are these numbers telling? And friends, maybe we need to ask the same question about our own life. Are we presenting a true and fair view of success? Or are we only focusing on selected numbers? Sometimes, from outside, a professional journey looks perfect. A respected qualification, a successful career, a senior designation, a growing practice, financial stability, recognition, everything, looks excellent. But a true and fair view requires looking deeper. How is our health? How peaceful is our mind? How strong are our relationships? How much joy exists behind the achievements? Because a balance sheet is meaningful only when it represents the complete picture, and life is meaningful only when success represents the complete person. Now, let us imagine a board meeting. The management presents financial results. Revenue has increased, profitability has improved, expansion plans are ready. Everyone appreciates the performance. But then an experienced director asks, wonderful numbers. Are they sustainable? That one question changes the discussion because sustainability matters. The same question applies to us. Our professional growth may be excellent, but is our lifestyle sustainable? Our achievements may be impressive, but is our energy sustainable? Our ambition may be powerful, but is our happiness sustainable? A successful life is not a sprint, it is a long journey. And in the long journey, sustainability becomes more important than speed. In accounting, we have a concept substance over form. The real nature of transaction matters more than only its external appearance. Maybe life follows the same principle. External appearance is designation, income, position, recognition, but substance, character, happiness, relationships, contribution, peace, and ultimately, substance matters. Now, let us come to leadership. Many chartered accountants listening today are already leaders, and many young CAs will become future leaders. But what makes a great leader? Is it only technical knowledge? Is it only authority? Is it only experience? Certainly, these things matter, but true leadership is much deeper. A leader creates an environment where people grow, A leader creates confidence. A leader creates trust. A leader creates future leaders. Think about your own professional journey. The seniors you respect the most today, are they only the people who taught you sections and standards? Or are they the people who believed in you, the people who supported you, the people who gave opportunities, the people who corrected you respectfully, the people who inspired you? That is leadership. A financial statement closes every year, but human impact continues for generation. A report may be achieved, a file might be closed, a project may be completed, but the guidance you give someone, the confidence you create in someone, the values you transfer to someone, you know, continue far beyond that moment. A CFM partner may build a larger practice. A CFO may build a strong finance department. A consultant may build a strong client portfolio. But the greatest achievement in is building people, because people carry your impact forward. This is success, beyond the human ledger. Because if life is maintained, no, maintained in a ledger, the biggest credits would not only be the money earned, the assets purchased, the positions achieved. The biggest credits would also include people helped, knowledge shared, trust created, smiles generated, hopes given. And the beautiful thing about this credit is they never reduce when shared. Knowledge increases when shared, respect increases when given, kindness, it increases when practiced, goodwill increases when distributed. In financial language, we often discuss return on investment, ROI. Every investment decision requires evaluation. How much return will it generate? How much value it create? But there are some investments where return cannot be calculated. The return on helping someone, the return on kindness, the return on spending time with family, the return on being present when someone needs you. These returns may not appear immediately, but they create a lifelong value. Now, as we move, deeper into this journey of understanding the balance sheet of life, there is one very powerful realization that comes with experience. The moments we remember, the most are not always the moments we earn the most. They are the moments where we felt the most. They are the moments where we connected, The moments where we laughed, the moments uh, where we helped someone, the moments where someone believed in us, the moments where life felt meaningful. No, think about your own journey. When you look back at your CA student days, uh, what do you remember? Do you remember every page of every book? Do you remember every calculation you practiced? Do you remember every question you solved? Maybe not. Maybe you remember the journey. You remember sitting with books late at night. You remember that nervous feeling before exams. You remember waiting for results, refreshing the ICI website again and again on result day. That moment when the screen finally showed that you cleared, calling your parents, the happiness in their voice, the people who stood with you. Because emotions create memories. Yeah, the mark sheets were important, the certificate was important, the qualification was important. But what stayed forever? The journey, the struggle, the people, emotions. This is the beauty of life. Achievements creates milestones, but emotions create memories. Let us take an example of a entrepreneur chartered accountant, someone who decides to build something of their own, a practice, a consulting firm, or a business. The initial years are extremely demanding. You know, uh, creating systems, finding clients, building teams, managing cash flows, maintaining quality, creating reputation. Every entrepreneur understands this pressure. Uh, Many times there are no fixed working hours. Every problem reaches your table. Every decision requires attention. But as the organization grows, a beautiful shift is required. The question changes from how much can I personally do to how much can I build that continues beyond me. That is the movement from success to significance. Now, every CA has a story. Behind every CA prefix, there is an invisible documentary. The world only sees the final result. The world sees qualified chartered accountant. But behind those words, there are chapters of discipline, sacrifice, uncertainty, courage, and most importantly, chapters of people who supported us. Maybe a parent uh, who quietly adjusted expenses so that we could continue studying. Maybe a friend who encouraged us after a difficult result. Maybe a teacher who said, "You can do it." Maybe a senior during your articleship who trusted us with responsibility. maybe a colleague who helped during a challenging assignment. None of these people sent us invoices. None of these contributions appeared as a professional services, but they created our journey. They invested their unbilled hours into us. And today, we are the return on that investment. Now, this is a very powerful thought. Every successful person is the result of many people's unbilled contributions. No one teaches anywhere completely alone. Someone guided us, someone trusted us, someone supported us, someone opened a door, somebody gave an opportunity, someone gave confidence, morale, and therefore, one of the greatest ways to honor that investment is to become that person for someone else. Maybe for a young CA, for a article assistant, maybe for a team member, for someone who is struggling. Because you know, mm, sometimes a few minutes of your guidance can save someone years of confusion. Let us imagine, a young article assistant, first audit assignment, first client visit, everything feels new. The terminology, the environment, expectations, pressure. Uh, a senior CA, he has two choices. First approach is just complete the work. Another approach is let me teach you why this work matters. The first approach creates an employee. The second approach creates a professional. And that difference is leadership. Success asks, what have I achieved? Significance asks, what continues because I existed? Success creates results. Significance creates legacy. And friends, legacy is not created only after retirement. Legacy is created every day through every interaction, through every decision, through every person we influence. A CA who practices with honesty creates legacy. A CFO who protects organizational values creates legacy. A teacher who guides students creates legacy. A senior who develops juniors creates legacy. A professional who contributes to society creates legacy. Sometimes we think, legacy means something very big, but legacy is often created through small actions done consistently. A few encouraging words, a few minutes of guidance, a few uh, acts of kindness, a few decisions based on values. Friends, the world may remember professionals for what they have achieved, but people remember human beings for how they made them feel. That is the difference between reputation and legacy. Reputation is what people know about you, and legacy is what remains because of you. And as a chartered accountant, our opportunity is not only to create a successful professional journey, our opportunity is to create a meaningful human journey. Now, let us talk about memories. A person may not remember every ordinary working day, but they remember special moments, a family trip, a conversation with parents, a child's achievement, a child's uh, friend's support, a moment when someone appreciated them, a moment when they made a difference. Years later, when we sit with our family, what stories do we usually share? Do we say, remember that night when I once, sent one extra email at 1 a.m.? Probably not. We uh, always remember that day when I completed one additional spreadsheet. Again, no. Although, as a chartered accountant, there may be some exceptional Excel lovers, among us who may actually remember as a beautiful formula they created. And yes, we respect that also. But generally, our strongest memories come from experiences. We remember journeys, we remember celebrations, we remember uh, conversations, we remember people. Because human life is not only a collection of achievements, it is a collection of experiences. Now, let us also talk about comparison. Today, we live in a world where everyone's achievements are visible. Someone became partner, someone became CFO, someone started a business, someone bought something new, someone achieved a milestone. And because we are ambitious professionals, sometimes we start comparing. But comparison is a very interesting accounting error because we compare our internal reality with someone's external presentation. We compare our complete trial balance with someone else's highlighted financial statements. And every CA knows before giving an opinion, we need complete information. Everyone has different journey, different circumstances, different priorities, different challenges, different timelines. Success is not a standard format report. It is customized. Your success story does not need to match someone else's. A company cannot follow another company's strategy blindly. A startup cannot operate exactly like a multinational. A manufacturing company cannot have the same structure as a service company. Every organization has its own model. Similarly, every human being has a unique life model. The objective is not to copy, the objective is to create a meaningful version of our own journey. Sometimes, in professional life, we are also focused on increasing our financial net worth that we forget another important measurement, our emotional net worth. Financial net worth answers, what do I own? Emotional net worth answers, who stands with me? Financial net worth shows, what have I accumulated? Emotional net worth shows, what have I contributed? Both are important. Money is important. Career growth is important. Professional success is important. But they should become, a part of life. They should not replace life itself. Every year, companies prepare annual reports, beautiful documents, achievements, numbers, milestones, future plans. But imagine, if we prepared our own annual life report, not for submission for anywhere, not for approval, not for compliance, only for ourselves. What should we write? This year I increased my knowledge. Wonderful. This year I achieved professional growth. Excellent. This year I created financial progress. Very good. But can we also write, this year I became healthier? This year I helped someone without expectation? This year I became a better version of myself? This year I spent quality time with family? That would be truly, a successful annual report. A very interesting thing, about our profession is that we prepare reports for everyone: audit reports, due diligence report, management reports, MIS, project reports, compliance. But imagine if one day we receive a report called My Life Report, prepared by time itself. Hmm. Would all these areas also receiving an excellent rating? This is the audit we rarely perform: our health, family, personal dreams, social contribution, self development. Now, there is very interesting thing about our profession. Like, whenever we finalize financial statements, we always check, are all assets recorded? Are all liabilities recognized? Are all disclosures properly made? Have we presented a true and fair view? Now, imagine the financial statement of our life, the final audit, the final review. At that moment, The question will not be how many hours did you bill? The question will be how many moments did you live? The question will not be how many clients did you have? The question will be how many relationships did you build? Not how much wealth did you accumulate? In fact, how much value did you create? Now, when we look uh, at our journey as a CA, sometimes we only remember the destination, the day we qualified, the day we received our membership number, the day we wrote those two letters CA before our name for the first time. But if we honestly look back, the real transformation happened much before that day. The real chartered accountant was not created only on result day. The real chartered accountant was created during those silent hours when nobody was watching, during those nights when the whole world was sleeping and we were sitting with our books, during those moments when we sacrificed short term comfort for a long term dream, during those attempts where things did not happen exactly as planned, but still we decided to continue. The CA journey teaches us more than accounting, taxation, auditing, and finance. It teaches us patience. It teaches us emotional strength. It teaches us discipline. And most importantly, it teaches us the value of time. Uh, there's a shortage of time we have, last 15 minutes left. So I'm just skipping few slides. Now, let me share a situation from corporate leadership. Imagine a senior finance professional, a CFO, who has spent 25 years in the corporate world. He has seen economic cycles. He has managed crises. He has handled audits. He has, you know, uh, led large teams. One day, a young professional asks him, "Sir, what is the biggest lesson from your career?" The young professional expected an answer about strategy, investment, finance, leadership. But the senior professional smiled and says, "In the beginning, I thought my job was to manage numbers. Later, I realized my job was to manage people. And finally, I understood that the most important responsibility was to manage myself." Now, that is wisdom. Because before leading organizations, we must lead ourselves. Before, managing companies, we must manage our own priorities. Before creating values outside, we must protect value inside. A tired leader may make decisions, but an inspired leader creates vision. A stressed professional may complete tasks, but a balanced professional creates transformation. A knowledgeable CA may, solve problems, but a wise CA creates impact. Now, our profession gives us an unique opportunity. Very few professionals, get access to so many businesses, of people, industries, and decision makers. We understand how organizations are built. We understand why some organizations succeed and why some fail. And one lesson appears again and again. Short term thinking creates short term results, long term thinking creates lasting institutions. The same applies to human life. If we only think about today's achievement, we may ignore tomorrow's fulfillment. But if we think long term, we start investing differently. We invest in knowledge, in relationships, in health, in reputation, in values. Now, a great life story is not only written only with achievements, it is written with experiences, with courage, the, with the kindness, with the uh, relationships, with learning, with contributions. And this brings us to another responsibility we carry as a chartered accountant: contribution to society. Our knowledge is a privilege. Our qualification is a privilege. Our experience is a privilege. And every privilege creates an opportunity to contribute. Sometimes contribution means guiding a business honestly. Sometimes contribution means mentoring a young CA. Sometimes contribution means sharing knowledge. Sometimes it means helping society, understanding finance better. Small contributions create large impact. A candle does not lose its brightness by lighting another candle. Similarly, our knowledge does not reduce when we share it. Hmm. My dear, at the end of our career, we may not remember every financial numbers we worked on, but we will remember the clients who trusted us, the teams we developed, the challenges we overcame, the relationships we created. Because life's richest moments are not invoiced. There is no GST invoice for a mother's blessing. There is no professional fee for true friendship. There is no accounting entry for a child's smile. And there is no valuation report for peace of mind. Now, before we enter into the final part of today's discussion, let us remember one important idea. A chartered accountant's responsibility is not only to create wealth, it is also to create wisdom, not only to manage numbers, but also to understand value. not only to prepare statements, but also to create stories worth remembering. And therefore, as we move towards the conclusion of this journey, let us ask ourselves, when the final balance sheet of our life is prepared, what would we want our greatest asset to be? The answer to this question will definitely no, it will not define not only our success, but our significance. Now, as we come towards the final part of this journey, let us return to where we started, the life of a chartered accountant, a life filled with responsibility, a life filled with expectations, life filled with trust, a life where people come to us when they need clarity, a life where businesses depend on our advice, a life where management depends on our judgment. And this is something we should always feel proud of, because being a chartered accountant is not just a qualification, it is not just a profession, it is a responsibility, it is a commitment, it is a promise to protect trust, a promise to uphold values, a promise to contribute towards businesses, society, and the nation, and the promise we made to ourselves, promise to live fully, stay healthy, create memories, maintain relationships, and the promise to enjoy the journey while reaching the destination. Because, you know, a meaningful life is not created only by reaching milestones, it is created by appreciating the moments between those milestones. And as chartered accountants, we are trained to look for evidence, for audit evidence, documentary evidence, supporting evidence, appropriate, sufficient. So maybe today we should ask, what evidence do we have that we truly lived? Is it only the number of files completed? Is it only the number of assignments delivered? Is it only the number of meetings attended? Or is it more? The photographs with family, the conversation with friends, the blessings of parents, the respect of colleagues, guidance given to juniors. All these really matters. This is the real evidence of a meaningful life. Now we are running really short of time. I really wanted to discuss few more slides, but as I could see the time running, uh, as chartered accountants, we always loved numbers. Revenue increased by 20% and profit improved by 15%. Portfolio uh, being crossed a certain value. Businesses achieved a milestone. Firm reached a certain turnover. But all these numbers are important. Numbers represent growth. Numbers represent effort. Numbers represent achievement. But not everything meaningful in life comes with a number. Can we measure the value of a conversation with our parents? Can we calculate the return on investment of playing with our children? Can we prepare a valuation report of true friendship? Can we calculate the fair market value of peace of mind? Some of the greatest assets of life are intangible, and as CAs, we understand intangible assets very well. Now, the richest accountant, chartered accountant, is, I would like to say, is not the one who only created the highest professional fees, but the one who unbilled hours created the highest value. We should always, try to build our unbilled hours. Spend time with the family, the parents, with children. A successful CA, always knows how to close books properly, but a wise CA knows how to live the chapters beautifully. So, uh, before we close our final balance sheet, let us ensure that our greatest assets were not left unrecorded. Let us ensure that our life statement shows a surplus of memories, a reserve of relationship, a capital of character, a goodwill of kindness, and unlimited investment in happiness. That's all from my side. If there is any questions, if any audience would like to ask, it's free to them. So, are there any questions? If any would like to ask, if there is anything in the chat box? There is a one question which have been asked: how to increase professional skills? Dear, professional skills obviously you can increase by attending the seminars, the sharing knowledge with someone, reading the books, reading the thoughts what others are also giving. Because whenever you interact with the people, you share the knowledge, have their experience, you would gain much more the a broader idea of what is there on the topic. Any more questions, please? Sir, I always try to interact with people, the senior leaders, even the ex-retired officers, the executive officers, and even the articles of my office also. Because हिंदी में एक कहावत है, 60 साल वालों के ऊपर के साथ भी बैठो और 5 साल वाले बच्चों के साथ भी बैठो, they will always give you a a broader way to think, to navigate how you would approach to a situation. Okay, so can we close this fifth meeting? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you ICAI for giving me this opportunity. Thank you Beneficiary Schemes Directorate, and thank you my respected seniors and my dear professional colleagues. Wishing each one of you a successful career, a meaningful journey, and a beautifully balanced balance sheet of life. Thank you.